They say that sometimes the night holds secrets that slip beneath the waves, beyond light's reach. On October 4, 1967, something unexplainable came crashing into the waters off Shag Harbour, Nova Scotia. What was seen, what was searched for, and what was never found has haunted witnesses, investigators, and the small fishing community ever since. This is the story of the Shag Harbour Incident. Before the crash, strange lights had been reported in the sky above Nova Scotia. These reports are often overlooked, but they help set the stage. At around 7:15 p.m. that evening, Air Canada Flight 305 was flying over eastern Quebec, near Sherbrooke and Saint Jean, at about 3,600 meters. The first officer, Robert Ralph, pointed out something odd, an object, brilliantly lit and rectangular, trailing smaller lights, moving parallel to their plane. Moments later, 2 silent explosions were seen near it. One of these faded into a blue cloud surrounding the object. Elsewhere, Daryl Dory, his sister, and his mother in Mahone Bay witnessed a large maneuvering lighted object over the southwestern horizon. They were unsettled by it, and fishermen aboard MV Nickerson off Sambro saw bright objects in rectangular formation on their radar, and then lights in the sky matching these returns. These reports were happening hours before what became the main Shag Harbour event. These pre-incidents don't fully explain what would happen later, but they show the sky was already alive with something strange. As night fully descended, Shag Harbour and surrounding communities were calm fishing villages, roads dimly lit, the sound of the sea lapping against small docks. At about 11:20 p.m., Atlantic Daylight Time, local resident Lori Wickens, then about 17 to 18 years old, was driving along Highway 3 with 4 friends. They spotted strange lights in the sky, amber-orange lights, blinking in some sequence. The lights appeared to descend from above, moving lower until it seemed the object was approaching the water. They drove toward it, hoping to get a clearer view. Behind hills and trees, the outline dimmed, but then, when they reached the shore, they saw something floating or hovering about 250 to 300 meters offshore. A dark object, topped by a yellowish light bobbing on the water. Meanwhile, other witnesses called in: residents at Maggie Guerin's Point, Mary Banks, people at Bear Point. Even boats offshore reported seeing lights and possibly something in the water. Though some initial reports thought it might be an aircraft crash, panic set in. Locals wondered, was it a plane, a UFO, or something else? Witness accounts describe sounds, whistling, whooshing, then a loud bang. Some heard a flash. Many thought a plane had crashed or that something had struck the water violently. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, detachment at Barrington Passage is alerted. Lori Wickens makes a call, trying to report that what he saw could be a downed airplane, that something has crashed into the harbor. Within minutes, some reports say about 15, an RCMP patrol car arrives. Officers walk toward the shoreline, join other locals. The object still floating when they first arrive, the yellow light visible on its top. But soon, whatever it was begins to submerge, sink, slip beneath the waves, before boats can reach it. Alongside the RCMP, local fishermen launch small boats to search the area. They try to get close to the object. The Coast Guard is called. The Rescue Coordination Center, RCC, in Halifax is contacted. Aircraft and military are alerted. Everyone is scrambling. What had crashed? Was anyone hurt? What is underwater? Once the object disappears beneath the water, what remains is something stranger. On the surface, a thick, yellowish foam. Glittering, odd bubbles. A smell reported by some as sulfuric or chemical. The foam stretches in patches across the surface, drifting. Fishermen and RCMP alike examine, collect samples. But the foam yields no obvious wreckage. No metal. No bodies. Nothing one would expect from an aircraft crash. Some witnesses describe the foam being several inches thick in places, patches or mats. The bubbles shift. Light reflects oddly off it, but its source is undetermined. It becomes the only physical trace of whatever entered the water. Once the RCMP and local community confirm that no known aircraft are missing, the incident gets escalated. The Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax sends a priority telegram, or telex, to the air desk at Canadian Forces Headquarters in Ottawa. The air desk is the body that handles UFO reports, both civilian and military. The air desk then sends further communication to Naval Command. An underwater search is ordered. Fleet Diving Unit Atlantic is tasked with combing the seafloor off Shag Harbour. Divers are deployed. Boats, Coast Guard, Navy all join. Searchlight sweep, sonar is used. Over 3 days, divers and marine investigators scour the seabed. The weather is cold, visibility underwater is murky. They examine every scrap, every anomaly. But nothing definitive surfaces. No body of plane, no structural debris. The final official reports. Not a trace, not a clue, not a bit of anything. As the search winds down, the newspaper stories begin. The Halifax Chronicle-Herald publishes on October 7th, "Could be something concrete in Shag Harbour, UFO, RCAF." The Royal Canadian Air Force's Air Desk says they're interested. Squadron leader William Bain is quoted saying that among hundreds of reports, Shag Harbour may be one of the few where something concrete could be found. 2 days later, October 9th, the Chronicle-Herald reports that the search is being called off. The Navy, via Maritime Command, states that not a trace, not a clue, not a bit of anything. Public interest is strong. The community is in shock. Witnesses talk, share what they saw. Some remain deeply convinced. Others doubt. Some speculations emerge. Military involvement, a covert craft, something from beyond. The official files show that conventional causes, aircraft, flares, batteries, floats, were considered and dismissed. Yet none of the explanations satisfy all. Beyond the official record, there are tales and accounts that linger in the shadows. One such is from a diver known only as Harry, who came forward decades later, claiming that when the naval search was underway, objects had been located underwater near Shelburne's Government Point, possibly tied to submarine detection infrastructure. According to his account, debris foam was retrieved. There was marine activity, possibly multiple objects. But official verification is lacking. Others claim that a flotilla of military vessels, U.S. and Canadian, were anchored off Shelburne, sometimes seen by locals. That unusual ship movements occurred. That surveillance was ramped up in the area after the incident. But again, none of these claims appear in the declassified, confirmed official files. They are rumors, interviews, whispered memories. Some also point to the Cold War context. Shelburne had a radar base, provinces of submarine detection, fears of Soviet incursions. That leads some to speculate the object might have military importance, or that secrecy played a role in minimal disclosure. However, precise evidence remains elusive. In the aftermath, Shag Harbour didn't return to total normal. The incident became part of the community's identity. In time, a UFO interpretive center was established. Tourists began to come. Documentaries, books, investigations. Researchers Chris Stiles, Don Ledger, Others dove into the archives. The Canadian government's Department of National Defence has acknowledged the incident and includes it in its historical UFO files. The case is often described in UFO research as one of the best documented, where something unknown apparently entered the water, and yet no conventional explanation fits entirely. But unanswered questions remain. What was the object's origin? How could something so large evade recovery? Why was there only foam and disturbance, no wreckage? Was there a cover-up? Was the search insufficient? Or was something deliberately hidden? Over the decades, various theories have been proposed that military craft, either Canadian or foreign, were being tested or recovered under secrecy, and the incident was part of a hidden operation, that the object was extraterrestrial, alien vehicles coming from beyond, which somehow submerged or crashed, that it was a natural phenomenon, or misinterpretation of flares, meteorites, or atmospheric phenomena. But most of those are dismissed. No missing aircraft, no meteor entries, no explanation that matches all witness details. Sound, light, foam, sinking. One more speculative line points to submarine detection technology near Shelburne, Cold War radar, sonar bases. If the object was submerged, could it have been tracked? Was there underwater movement? Some witnesses claim yes, but again, no hard proof. Whatever theory one favors, the evidence is incomplete, and often it is the gaps that most people remember. There is horror in knowledge, but there's a deeper horror in what we do not know. In that night off Shag Harbour, the sky showed something strange. The ocean swallowed it, and time and authority withheld closure. For the witnesses, the memory remains vivid. Lights, sound, foam, uncertainty. For the investigators, an absence they cannot explain. For the future, a reminder. Sometimes the deepest darkness lies between what one thinks they saw and what is ever proven.